and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single day. And if you're looking for daily short tarot readings, check out my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. If you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what the circle needs to know today. Wow. That's so interesting because I literally just saw 1111 before I was doing this reading and the 1111 card came out. We have the Queen of Pentacles, Temperance, we have the Four of Swords, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Tower on the bottom of the deck. I'm seeing that you've gone through some major changes and spiritual awakening lately. And I'm seeing that there's a little bit of an impatience or like feeling lonely, or I don't know, it's like despite you going through this spiritual awakening and having these greater understandings of yourself and being able to manifest things more accurately and faster, there's this lonely sort of energy, this impatient sort of energy, this feeling of sort of things still not quite being fulfilled. And you're being asked to have patience right now at this time with this Temperance card. Try to keep your balance. I'm seeing that you are on the right path. You're really working towards your goals. And with the Queen of Pentacles here, I know I talk a lot about the Queen of Pentacles being in an overgiving energy, but I'm actually not picking up on that this time. This Queen of Pentacles in this particular reading has more of a balanced approach. I'm seeing that your finances and your career are really at the forefront right now. I'm also seeing that you're really wanting to nurture the different areas of your life that you're trying to manifest. And the Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing sort of energy, but you've been able to balance out things. And Temperance is also about balance because we see the two cups and the even flow of water back and forth between the cups. You're being asked to relax a little bit at this time, kind of take a breather, kind of regroup, take a step back, maybe go on vacation. So for those of you who are in that kind of part of your cycle of needing to take a step back, make sure that you do that. And then you're going to end up getting all these ideas and all this motivation and all this energy to continue working on your path here. You're on the right path. You're making the right decisions. You might feel like you're sort of on pause at the moment. And sometimes when you're on pause, it's because you have all these great things coming in and you're actually meant to be resting. So don't take this as like you're not stagnating. So don't worry about that. Sully, what are you doing? Hey, stop that. Wow, you chewed my pen. How did you even do that? You got like some chompers. Don't chew that. That's not good for you. All right, I'm just going to take a couple more cards here. We have the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Fool. Interesting, and Justice. Okay, so now I'm understanding too more about why the universe is putting you on pause at this moment. It's because it's asking you to get really clear on the seeds that you're wanting to plant for this new beginning. I'm also seeing that there's going to be some sort of long-term thing that's closing out. There's going to be justice coming in from some sort of situation or multiple situations. And I'm also hearing, this is kind of an interesting message, but the way that you talk about your past influences your present. So be careful if conversations about the past are being brought up. Be careful how you discuss that and how much you talk about the past and how much you put that energy into those conversations, especially if you have negative things in your past that you're talking about, because you're going to be accidentally manifesting those things if you focus too much on the wrong stuff. I'm hearing that the reason why you're being put on pause a little bit at this time and why you're being asked to get clear is because your manifestations are being heightened, and it could have to do with the eclipse that's coming up. The eclipse has a tendency to bring up a lot of hidden emotions and bring up things from, like, bring it to the surface that needs healing, but it also tends to increase certain emotions and things like that as well. So your manifestations could be becoming heightened due to that, because that's coming up here very shortly. I believe it's on April 20th. But going back to this idea of your past influencing your present, if you're focusing too much on your past and you're not looking towards the future, you're going to end up attracting the cycles from the past. If you are talking about your past where you're being the victim and you are, I guess, hyper fixating on that, that can cause you to attract it back into your life. You want to make sure that if you're thinking back on the past, you're talking about it, you're talking about your growth and or you're working on your healing. Don't focus on your past in a way that you are hyper fixating on it and bringing in negative energies. You need to very much stay in a positive state as much as possible at this time. Have high expectations of what's coming, because I'm hearing that there's going to be a lot of positive things coming in, a lot of surprises that are going to be coming in here shortly, but you don't want to get in your own way of that by falling into these negative mindsets. And I have a really good example of this that I can give you, because I know it can be a little like mystifying when I say be careful about how you talk about your past. It can influence your present. One of the times I went back to visit Los Angeles like several years ago, one of my really good friends, we've been friends for, like 10 years, I think. And he had a new boyfriend and they were getting engaged and like all this stuff. And I went to see him and we were talking about the past because I hadn't seen him in so long. And he actually had left Los Angeles, and right around the time that I left Los Angeles, but then he ended up going back before I went back to Los Angeles. And we were talking about that because I didn't know the process of that. When he came back, originally he was not in the entertainment industry at all. And when he came back, he ended up entering the industry and he became very successful. And so we were just sort of catching up on that whole thing. And he started asking me about my journey with Los Angeles. And I'm talking to him and I'm talking to his boyfriend, and kind of like through conversation, I started realizing certain patterns with what I was discussing. And I was talking a lot about the things that didn't work instead of the things I learned, or instead of being more vague, I guess. I was like hyper fixating on the things that frustrated me about what didn't work when I was there the last time. And I sort of saw on their face how their like expression started to shift. And there was this moment where I was like, why am I talking about all this stuff? You know how sometimes you get kind of caught up in an emotion or a thought process and then you sort of like end up word vomiting? And like you ramble. That's kind of what ended up happening. And I had to quickly shift the conversation because it got sort of uncomfortable, because all of us are typically pretty positive people. But for whatever reason, that conversation ended up going negative. And it wasn't even just me. Like they ended up kind of falling into that too, because energy is contagious. So I don't remember which one of us it was, but we were like, you know what, let's not talk about the past. And we shifted things and we started talking about what was working for us now, and the goals that we had and the things that we were accomplishing and those types of things. And the energy shifted very quickly. But I guess that's what I mean is like, be careful about how you talk about your past. Because not only that, like, let's say it wasn't my friend and this was just some acquaintance I had met through a networking event or something. If you're talking too negatively about the past, especially if you go to like a networking event, like I see this happen at film festivals a lot, where artists will meet and you start having this conversation and they start talking about how difficult it was to make the film, but then it sort of spirals into this negativity and you can tell they're sort of jaded because they're frustrated with not getting to where they want to go fast enough. And it shifts the way that people perceive you. And it can even turn some people off. So I guess that's also another way of like, be careful how you bring up your past. Be careful that you aren't trying to convince other people so much that you're healed, that it sounds like that's what you're doing. And people go, ooh, we're not on the same page. You know, those types of things. No, Soul Bear. So just be careful. Be careful how you talk about your past. Be careful how you bring it up, who you talk about it with, and how much detail you go into. Because oftentimes talking about the negative aspects of your past, unless you're talking about your growth or your healing, or you're trying to help somebody else who's going through something similar, it's often not beneficial for you, and it brings you back to that negative mindset. No. So just keep that in mind. Be careful. It's more of a warning than anything else, but just know that you're on the right path. You've got some really awesome energies coming in. You've got an amazing new beginning, and some major things are going to be closing out for you. So for those of you who have been going through this spiritual awakening and you're just like, ugh, like I feel like I keep peeling back the onion and it just keeps going, like the onion's never ending. Know that not everything can stay the same forever. Like eventually things have to shift. If you're unhappy, if you're depressed, if you're frustrated, eventually that has to shift. You can't always stay in that negative state. It's all temporary. So don't let the bad days win in that sense. There's going to be positive things coming. So just hang in there and try to expect the best, because you have the best able to come in, but you got to be in receiving of it. And so this is your reading. If it resonates with you, then don't forget to like this video. Your affirmation for this reading is, I am on the right path. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.